welcome to Olde World Tech Fridays.
Good evening.
Hey.
How is everyone this evening?
Fantastic. I'm just learning all about the electoral process in different states in the United States. Thanks to Ron and Eric and Frank.
So, lots of different rules depending on where you live.
Yeah.
Vote early, vote often.
Yes. And always remember to be registered to vote because it makes it very difficult if you're not.
Yeah.
Makes it impossible if you're not.
Apparently.
You just can't.
Well, it depends. It depends.
So how's everyone's week been? Have you guys been up to anything fun? Has it been busy?
It's been
I know
busy.
is this the last week for March and Tosh? It is the last week for March and Tosh.
We're in the home stretch. Monday is the final day.
Yeah.
But not technically because don't forget about the April 1st where you can make your little April Fool's jokes and things like that. And then things slide into April Apples, celebrating all things Apple II.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's great that those both are next to each other. It would be better if we could make April before March, but that's not doable. I've talked to the calendar people; they've already got the templates made. It's very difficult to change.
Well, we could switch to Smarch.
Yeah, stupid Smarch weather.
Yeah.
To be fair, Apple II and Macintosh computers existed in the marketplace at the same time.
Right.
So it's fine. Sorry. Speaking of Apple products, but it just kind of existed at the same time and it was fine. So thank you, Steve. Thank you. And thank you to Dr. Bratberg for taking time out of his day to talk to me.
Great video.
Yeah, just something fun.
Yeah.
Personal stories.
They're always the best.
Personal stories.
Right. It's always great to talk to somebody where a piece of technology has been, very beneficial or very foundational to their development. And it seems like, at least with the March and Tosh videos I've seen, there's been a lot of people talking about, back when they were in school, they had Macs in the classrooms, or their first computer was a Macintosh. It's pretty cool how they are like foundational computers for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's ours for Apple IIs in elementary school.
Kate's got a great documentary. The Macintosh Librarian's got a great documentary about how Apple leveraged schools to kind of build their brand and all that, make things, make it the indispensable, computer for schools in the U.S.
Right.
So very much kind of like Commodore and the BBC Micro and all that in the UK. Yeah.
Yep.
The here in Canada, it was really weird. It was based on province. So some provinces had very big Apple penetration. Some of them had Commodore. It really depended on the individual province and their education department, and even then I guess regional education departments too would vary. Like I said,
Eric, are you streaming tomorrow morning at 9?
Maybe.
There you go.
I have to be convinced.
Sorry, Trina. Find another time slot.
I have to be convinced.
Just do a hardware stream, you'll be fine.
My convince, all you need to do is convince is that Trina, you've already streamed like 9 times this week. It's there's a point where you just have to give your urethra a break, okay?
Yeah.
She's getting lots of watch hours.
Just go to have a nice long sleep in tomorrow. It'll be fun.
Or even a nice long lie-in, if you, depending on where you're from on planet Earth.
Right.
Streaming at 90210.
Yes.
Yeah. Memcast tests, can't wait.
Yeah, I'm just going to run mem test. I'm not going to talk or anything.
You know what's really funny?
Music,
I was cleaning out a box of stuff yesterday, getting ready for our convention we have this weekend. I found a mem test floppy disk. I must have made it a couple of years ago, but I was like, oh wow, I forgot I had this. So I felt like I was going to walk around and turn it on, plug it into all the computers, and have them all run mem test. Take a picture and send it to Trina. But yeah, so what else did everybody do this week? Any new Macintosh shenanigans besides we saw Ron's video, which like I said was quite good. Eric, I know that you've been working on Adventures Manuel. How's that going? Have you finished the manual? Ooh, print and bound.
Spiral bound. That's awesome.
Yes, because manual
like a Commodore manual
flat when you're reading them.
What percentage of the pages are scratch and sniff?
Yeah.
Well, they're all scratch and sniff if you scratch hard enough.
They all smell like zero. You scratch really hard, they smell like fire. Are there any feelies in the box going to come out with the game? Do you have any? Remember back in the day they used to put like little bits of cloth or like
the ones he farted on.
Oh, Joe.
What the secret is for the super epic rare collector's edition is Eric will fart in the box and seal it real quick.
Yeah.
You get that fresh air.
No.
You open your
no.
copy.
I wouldn't do that, except to you, Brett.
Hey, we have to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
There's extra for this.
Super collector's edition.
No, I am gonna. This has got errors in it, obviously, because this was a draft copy. I thought, oh, it's really cool. I hit 100 pages exactly. No, there's 105 in it because I've missed some stuff. No, this was an experiment to see
awesome,
how the binding would work and all
That's
that.
great. Did you buy a binding machine or did you happen to have one?
Yes, I bought a
Okay.
binding machine. I also bought a laser printer.
Okay.
Nice.
No.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Won't tell me how
That's
many
right.
binding machines I've
Coming
thrown
along.
out over the years.
Yeah, I know.
Like everybody's throwing them out. We don't need this anymore. To the garbage.
And it only does like 10 to 20 pages at a time. So
Oh, that's painful.
yeah, that's
So the
okay.
question is, do you sit there and assemble each individual one at a time, or do you do like,
I've
go
only
hole
made
punch?
one
Oh, okay.
so far.
So
He's
there's
So,
no
not
assembly
there
line.
yet. Ask
Yeah.
again in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a second manual as well. I'm going to have to buy a bigger binding coil because the editor manual is going to be twice as long.
Okay.
Now, is it in English and Spanish? Can you
And
purchase
French.
the Spanish version of the manual?
No.
You can
Only
use
if you
Google
translate.
Translate on your phone.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But I did actually get a preliminary copy from Eric of the manual, and it's like the first 3 pages is nothing but I'm from Barcelona. I'm from Barcelona.
Alone.
In the
See,
the
Mr.
correct
Fluffy.
enunciation of the word and pronunciation.
Barcelona.
I'll just say it correctly.
Yes.
Oh
Mr.
yeah,
Falt.
do all the pictures have alt text?
The pictures have alt text.
What's the metadata like? On the first
No, there's no alt text.
Now, did you run them through do you run the PDF through a quartz filter to reduce the size, or are the JPEGs going to look terrible? I gotta know.
Oh, they'll look terrible anyway, but no, I didn't
That's on
compress
purpase.
the PDF.
That's on purpose.
So
Too
Supposed
funny.
to-
That's awesome though. I'm
it does
excited
have
to see it.
pictures though.
Oh.
If you need to have pictures, there's screenshots. There's even a little graphic describing part of the storyline.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
There you go. You can show better now.
Yeah, you can show it again. That way
Oh,
people
all
can see it.
right.
You can see it.
Insist. So here's the cover.
That's awesome.
And no AI used at all in any of the graphics.
As if.
Eric himself, however, is made of AI.
Yes.
That's right. So sufficient.
I am definitely artificial. That's
intelligent.
dark.
That's really
Um,
cool.
Anyway, but there's some fine art pictures, that I stole only the best public domain art.
Of the bird.
Nice.
You can't even. Yeah, that's the bard.
I got to ask Eric, why does your webcam look like we're, I don't know, a nanny cam from 1999?
You don't
Or-
want to know.
I like Eric's camera. It's got the feel of like, those AI movie things where it's like, what if Star Wars was released in 1950 in CinemaScope?
Yeah.
It's got that feel.
Yeah,
Live
it
and
does.
Technicolor.
I tried messing around with starting out in Linux for the show, and for some reason OBS keeps getting wonky every time I try to use it in Linux. I have to work on it, and then so I scrambled to get into Windows, and I'm like, what the heck is going on with the filter on this thing? So I gave up.
I thought you just had your lights in your basement off.
I was thinking it was more
No,
like
lights are on. It's
No kidding.
like the lighting in here sucks to begin with.
It looks like your basement lights are off and you can see light from like a window or something.
It looks like
if you're
there's
in it.
vignetting.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, that and
That's
Eric
funny.
does broadcast directly from a PowerBook 170.
Right.
That-
Right.
That
So
makes sense.
it's
That
you're
is
gonna
true.
you're gonna get that tunnel vision
Yeah.
the
as it
longer
gets-
you watch him.
Yeah.
Proto-
So
prototype
if you
ICAM.
want to play the demo version of Adventure, it is available on Global Talk for
Nice.
one. If you want to spend an hour downloading it,
It's more than an hour, Eric.
oh,
I-
it's at
It's
least
30
an
it's
hour.
30 something megabytes.
Yeah,
My
And then,
my Quadra 605 cried a lot while downloading it.
Can't
but
let
it's
it bother.
also
20
there's
years.
several posts, various places with a link to a Google Docs so that you can
Is
download
it is it available on Steam yet?
No,
Oh,
but it is available for Linux or Windows in the emulator.
Cool.
So mini VMAX. So if you
Mhm.
choose to pursue that instead of having a power PC,
I heard a rumor that Eric was selling this game to Tencent, and they were going to microtransaction the crap out of it.
mm,
$2 a
Buy
duck,
all kinds of skins for the Bard and all kinds of things.
Oh no.
and every duck is
it's all
there's like-
text.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well, maybe the font would be Helvetica or something. I don't know.
There you go. You can
Pay
buy
extra
different
for that.
fonts.
If you want Comic Sans, like it's an extra $20.
Yeah, it's like when Zork came out in 3D.
Why did Frank just say that like Frank Reynolds?
I don't know.
It's
I
like
think
the
it was
delivery on that was it's $20.
$20.
Dennis.
God.
Ah, sweet D.
Yeah.
I watched a video for the first time that I've never actually seen before in my life, and I think it's quite hilarious. I'm sure all of you have probably seen it. I don't know why I haven't seen it, but it's Steve Ballmer selling Windows, like Windows 2.
Would you like?
Yeah, and it's like, would
Yeah,
you
he was
pay
awful
$100 or would you pay $500? $1,000 more? Throw some
Well,
money
you
in
know what's funny is people always comment about Steve Jobs presenting things. You know
Yeah.
how charismatic he was, and wait, one more thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Steve Ballmer was hilarious because he
Yeah.
was incredibly animated.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Except
The
animated
monkey
in the
scream dance thing.
Developers.
developers.
Wow.
And he's all sweaty and he's just
Yeah.
Niagara Falls down his face.
Yeah,
Like, can
it's-
someone give Steve a towel? Like,
I get
a
in front of
slipping hazard.
people and it's I'm pretty good at talking in front of a crowd, but there are times where you just get the weird the heebie-jeebies
Mhm.
and you get the flop sweat just hits you
Mhm.
and you're like
it was the
oh
80s
god,
after all.
it's ugh,
Well, maybe
my
he
my
really
lower
wanted
back
to-
is like Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Maybe he aspired to be a televangelist and just didn't.
I
pursue
could
that.
see that. He
I can
has
see
the
it.
build for a televangelist, that's for sure.
For only $9.95, you can
Yeah.
have a copy of Windows 2 today.
People ask me, Baby Balmer, why do you give this away for free? It's because
How do you make
I just love being nice to people.
I say,
how do you make money? I make
I
no
say
money.
the code needs to be shared with everybody, but for a
That's right.
fee.
Yeah.
I haven't watched. I think I only watched the first episode of that. Righteous
Oh.
Gemstones.
I've seen none of it. It looks.
Oh my god! I thought that's what you
feel
were
like
referencing.
Yeah, it is. I am.
I've only
but
seen a
It's
preview.
because it's the meme. It's the
Yeah,
meme
yeah.
clip that's all over,
Yeah.
like that people keep like
wait.
using on
Regurgitate.
things.
Isn't that the
Yeah.
one that the there will come a payday? Hallelujah, what a payday. That's
Yeah.
the same thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I've seen
not-
previews.
not the same, but it's like
It's
I
in
guess
the vein.
episode where he's like, well, okay, the Benny Hinn's of the world
Yes.
that sell snake oil.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like it's one of those things where it's like he's selling a supplement kind of deal.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, all my lab coats, all my stuff. I'm doing the same voice that I do in the Fallout show. Woo!
And that's a good question. There's a lot of like similarities in personalities, it seems, between tech evangelical people and Christian evangelicals.
Well, selling is selling. I
Yeah.
mean,
yeah, and maybe that's
for real
maybe
sales professionals. I mean,
Right.
selling is selling.
because you call yourself an evangelist of Martintosh, Ron. So
Yeah, it's
in
it's
your
true.
best, and not to put you on the spot, but in your best, Christian mega church televangelist shtick. Sell somebody on Marcintosh. Sell us on Marcintosh.
Well, here it's super simple. It's just it's fun to do, and very few people are hurt by doing it. So do it.
That's way better, Eric.
Yeah, that's the iPhone.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
There
why.
you go. Let there be light, said the Lord.
That's it. That's what I would say. That's how I sell people on it. It's like, it's just fun if you like this stuff, and if you don't like this stuff, it's fine too.
Okay, cool.
That's right. Take it or leave it.
And it doesn't cost anything other than, like, you know, if you have to buy some equipment for yourself.
You don't have to buy anything. You can go to infinitemac.com and emulate it in a browser and just have as much fun as somebody that spent $5,000 on crazy stuff.
You can download my emulated game and play it on your Windows computer.
Yeah. I mean, it's I think what I'll tell you is the thing that sells people on it is much like anything else, much like religion, much like clubs, much like anything, is that people want to belong. They want to have a sense of belonging, and they want to be heard more than anything. They want people that have a similar goal, and that's to just listen to people and have a good time and just do that. And so I think that little community events like this are a great opportunity. People write software, people make games, people release new hardware, people generally it's kind of like a very generous time of year. People give their time, they give their effort, and I think people just naturally want to gravitate towards those things. So
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought
this is the fourth year?
This is year 4.
Okay.
Next year is our paper anniversary.
So what are we doing for our paper anniversary?
Oh, I think we're gonna print more paper on Global Talk.
Yeah,
More
we're
image
gonna
writers,
burn through paper.
Yeah, we'll burn through more paper.
Well, by that
More
time, I'll
paper.
have a solar setup in my garage, so maybe I can run like half a dozen or a dozen Local Talk printers.
Why
off
not?
some solar power.
I'm running 2 right now. I've got my image writer set up, and I've got a laser printer set up. So.
Nice.
Maybe by next year I'll find my Raspberry Pi so I can get my Tash thing working, and I can get the printer hooked up and all the things.
That's cool. I bought one of those cards. Frank bought one of those cards, and I it's somewhere. I have no idea what I did with it.
Tractor feed anniversary.
What'd I buy?
That's awesome.
I buy a lot of things.
Yeah, but you bought one of those Tash Talk adapters.
Yes,
and it's
4 of them.
Yeah, I bought. You only need 1, but that's fine.
Well, how am I going to talk to myself if I don't have more than 1?
I guess.
That built it.
Yeah.
I don't know where I put it.
So it's somewhere. Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, now you got to find your pie.
Well, yeah,
and I'll tell you this, Eric. I don't know which pie you're looking for, but I've anecdotally heard people say that the Pi Zero, which would be the cheapest cost of entry on the project, had bye Eric. Bye Eric. I've heard that people have had problems with Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Doing it over Wi-Fi. But
I wouldn't do it
like
over
a Pi 3, perfect. Pi 4, perfect.
Bye, Eric.
Bye, Eric.
You were leaning backwards this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to pop it out. Not doing too good here.
But yeah, so for anybody wondering, the Tash Talk is a little hat for the Raspberry Pi that gives you Local Talk access for your printer, correct?
Well,
anything,
any of your devices. It's basically it's just a bridge, and uses JRouter or whatever on Linux, or Linux. So you can
Linux.
Well, depends on where you're from. You can download Wares, or you can download Whereas.
Yeah.
But the it just bridges it across. So and there are devices you can buy that are
you bought one recently,
of course,
didn't you?
of course of course the box is way across the room.
Yeah.
So I can't show you,
And
but
Ron's
I
not
did.
wearing any pants, so he doesn't.
No,
want
I'm wearing. You're right. I'm wearing shorts. But yeah, they do make some little boxes that basically just do the exact same thing. But
Now I heard if you had a breadboard and a bunch of little loose wires, you could just
Yeah,
pin out
you
the local talk and just plug it right into an Ethernet port.
You could, if
Yeah,
you were
just-
so inclined.
Yeah.
You just it's really some levelers and
Yeah.
like a little serial controller, and I mean
Fine.
it's just a handful
A
of
bit of
chips.
logic, you're fine.
It's just
Yeah.
electronics.
Yeah,
All it is.
Yeah.
All you got to do.
It's just a
Mhm.
little hocus pocus.
So that's exciting. And I guess, would you deem Marcintosh successful? Have you done everything you wanted to do? Was there something you wanted to do that you couldn't do? I'm looking at you, Eric.
I got too busy. I got too much going on.
I got a lot of stuff done.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. I've got one more video going out the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like about the Mac Portable.
Awesome.
There was a bunch of stuff I wanted to do, and I can't. So
That's
Not
okay.
with that attitude.
yeah, I
I'm
know.
hoping maybe over the weekend I can actually record mine because I just have not had time yet. There's too
Here's the
much going
deal.
on this one.
Let me let you guys off the hook. If you think there's a lot of production required, there's not. You just need to grab your phone and make a single YouTube short. 1 minute of your time, no
Yeah.
edits, no nothing. Upload it. You've done it.
Here's a Mac. I'm done.
Hashtag Marcintosh.
Yeah.
You can
Sweet.
say, "Hey, here's a new machine I got." One, and actually, shorts are now longs because I
Yeah.
think they're 3 minutes.
Yeah,
So
there.
you can just be like, "Hey, here's some stuff," or "Here's the things I wanted to accomplish this year." And so just to put a pin in those things. It's
Yeah.
it's
Good idea.
I mean, no one's going to fault you for having a life and for being busy. But if you're just like, I'm doing cool things, I just got to have the time to do the cool thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just make a YouTube short. Throw it
Yeah.
out there. Or take a picture of whatever it is you were working on. It's on the desk or it's in the box. It's like, here's the Mac Plus that I was going to recap for Marcintosh. Everybody wish me luck in April Apples or just something goofy.
Sure,
Take a picture of it, post it somewhere.
that's a good idea.
Yeah. It's
I
I mean,
have been posting a little bit, but it's all been
Oh, he's
about
cute.
the game.
Terrifying, but cute.
you can rearrange the stuff on the face. Right?
Yeah, its face is Velcro.
Mhm.
Well, that's terrifying.
Change the thing.
I was gonna say because it's
Yeah,
It's doing the
that's how,
duck
that's
face.
how he came.
RJ11?
Class,
it's a
classic.
Terminator.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
Terminator.
local talk Terminator.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
The
got
worst Arnold Schwarzenegger impression ever.
I need you-
Doc.
I need your packets to stop here.
I
Nice.
got several.
Go ahead and give these people some
I got this
bandwidth.
too. They're
There's
handy
one
to
that,
have.
in its native environment.
So what is it, just like a 1 ohm resistor?
No, it is 120 ohms.
Oh, okay.
So those are what was in our computer lab when I was in elementary school.
Oh, okay.
You take one of these out, it sometimes causes grief. Not all the times. But
It's not like with
sometimes.
Token Ring where you
Not
just
bad, yeah,
barely
not
undo
as
the
bad as
BNC
Token
and the whole network goes down.
Yeah.
And you spend hours.
Yeah.
Sorry again, Mr. Dodd. I'm sure you're not watching, but if you are, I apologize for the grief that we gave you in grade 6
Cannot
and 7.
believe you.
So I got something to talk about that's tech related, but
Tech
it's something,
adjacent.
Yeah, it's something that I just recently learned about that I think is quite bizarre.
Okay.
It's called Reflect Orbital,
Oh yeah.
and you can buy sunlight directly
Yes.
beamed to your house.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, I've seen those
And I
systems.
was like, I have never heard of that.
Um,
And then
The
my
Warmander-
mind immediately, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but my mind immediately went with, well, that's interesting. We have all these fires this past year, like with the Hawaii and whatnot. I'm like, I don't think this is a company to invest in. So I
Well,
don't know.
I like a picture was the
It's awful
Indiana Jones
coincidental.
where they're, or not Indiana Jones. Was it Indiana Jones or was it the Mummy where they bounce the sunlight around the room to light it up?
Indiana Jones.
It was Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. That's all I can imagine. It's like,
Yep.
bouncing sunlight into your
But
house.
I just happened to see like a commercial for it, and I was like, "What?" I thought it was like a, just like a stunt thing, but apparently it's a legit
100%
company.
a James Bond villain's cover
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
They've been there's been some inexpensive third world solutions like that where they take like a 2-liter bottle, put water in it,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
embedded in the
Ceiling.
the roof
Into the
so
the
that it comes
ceiling,
through
yeah.
and
Yeah.
disperses it.
yeah. But
I-
I've never seen anything on this scale.
As frank as somebody that lives in Amish country,
That's right.
They do that a lot for
they whittle them out of wood
warehouses.
and-
No, they'll use those type of structures in the roof to kind of just let more natural light inside like a warehouse or something that you wouldn't necessarily have. You would have electricity somewhere else.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just thought the whole concept was interesting.
Yeah,
it is.
Doing it.
The applications they were talking about were different. I mean, it was like how to provide sunlight to solar panels in the evenings, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was quite interesting after I started looking into it. But,
and then the more you talk about it, the more I think about Mr. Burns, the time he tried to like block out Springfield's like sun with a big sunshade.
I think they did the same thing on Futurama, one of the episodes, wasn't it?
Well, Wernstrom was going to basically like had a giant parabolic mirror that was going to reflect a certain percent but a little asteroid hit it and it turned it on its side and it became like a little magnifying glass.
Yeah, burned a line through.
Yeah.
Well, there's
the words of Al Gore. Oops. Okay.
Yeah.
What else we got?
There's some village in a mountainous region somewhere. I don't know if it's the Alps or whatever. And the town has some kind of reflector up on top of one of the mountains that hits the town square, so that they can get some sunlight in the town square.
They do that all across California, out in the desert, where they'll have solar operations, where they'll have mirrors and stuff that track to increase the amount of solar energy that they can generate.
Yep.
And they also have, where in the deserts of, I'm assuming the Middle East, they have the ones that reflect the sunlight to a point.
Yes.
On a tower, and it uses like it heats to a godly amount of heat, and uses it to generate electricity.
Or make steam, whatever. Yeah. It's so weird that we're at a point where all of this is just like, wow, all this high technology, and it's people have been kind of
doing it for centuries.
Yeah, it's centuries old ideas, but just like new applications,
modern application.
Yeah. So, or sort of like on MythBusters with the like the little thing for catching a boat on fire, like mirrors.
Yes.
That silly thing that didn't work, of course, because it can't work. Yeah. Okay.
But then they had Roman fire, or Greek fire, which they figured out wasn't actually
ancient napalm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what I enjoyed was the fact that it had to be boiled in a pan before they could light it, but it was boiled over a fire, so it was really dangerous.
Yeah.
The Greeks used sunlight to burn up enemy ships. Yeah, that was what MythBusters attempted to do, and prove that it was plausible, but not probable.
Not likely.
It's
Hope that ship still.
Yeah, it was hope they can't get some oars out and move.
Right.
Or that the clouds blow through.
Yeah.
You're focusing something in a point, and it's like, okay, like all the factors on that, which is ridiculous, but
or 10,000 shield parabolic reflector.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably more accurate that you just have a bunch of mirrors there, shiny things to like you just can't see.
Blind, yeah.
Or
I mean, if it was a stationary thing and it was, like a thatched roof cottage or some sort, or that you might be able to light it on fire because it's not moving.
Right. You just have a magnifying glass. All right, hold on. Give me 10 minutes and we'll burn your house down.
Well, I was thinking you get Trogdor, the Burninator.
Yes.
The thatched roof cottages.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's in everyone's head, so you're welcome. So tech-wise today, I read a really cool article before we started the show.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which apparently now they have seasons, wasn't aware of. Didn't realize that games have now turned into TV shows.
Yeah.
And they have seasons. So the new season comes out April 2nd. I think they did April 2nd because they didn't want people to think this was an April Fool's joke.
Right.
Putting it out on the 1st. Yeah. But Jay and Silent Bob will be playable characters in the new Black Ops 6 Season 3.
Yeah.
What
other Degrassi characters will you be able to play as?
Right? background girl with wavy hair number 2.
Yeah, I no offense to like that whole situation, but it's like those guys have just been through so much. It's like it's. I'm glad that they've got another payday coming, but it's just it's like, oh my gosh.
In Kevin's defense, I guess he's very diversified in what he does.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to have spent his money and kind of gotten to a bunch of different things that, so he's not having to be Silent Bob for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I
Right.
think everybody kind of, there's a point where it's like, I'm gonna move on and do some other things, and I know over there in Redmond that he's done a lot for the community there and splashes a lot of money.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Drake moved on from Degrassi.
Well, I was thinking maybe Drake could be a character, but then I realized he'd probably only chase certain types of other characters. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
Allegedly. Anyway, here we are.
Hang on. Our legal department wants to cut off Ryan's mic. Hang on. Let me get clarification here. What was that?
I just get replaced. You see someone come grab me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody else sits down.
Yeah.
The Oscar music comes up.
Brian.
What's this?
It's a clone of me with a mustache.
Oh,
named Brian.
Who did the Oscars? Gervais. Gervais comes in and sits down. I'm not sure why I'm here.
Yeah. They keep having me back. I don't know.
I don't understand.
I hate all these people. I'm very mean to them.
But they keep asking me
what they
back.
should do is Jimmy Carr needs to host the Oscars.
Yeah, I think he needs to pay his taxes first, but still,
yes. So maybe that's the way he could pay his taxes.
Maybe, yeah. You know what? Jimmy Carr's new head really has me like kind of put off a little bit on him.
Well, what they did this time is they took the skin from the front and they stretched it right over the back, and it's just stapled. That's why he never turns around on stage.
Oh wow!
It's just like that scene with Homer where he's skinny and you got all the back fat.
Right, he's got all the little clips.
Yeah,
the binder clips all over him. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny that we've kind of come. I wouldn't say full circle, but it's like a very modern video game, very popular with a lot of people would have two characters in it who essentially are from a independent film, and I don't even know if kids would know who Jay and Silent Bob are unless they were like
probably not
weird cinema kids.
Really sure.
I don't know who they are.
I don't think it's for them. It's for the parents of the kids that are watching the thing.
Clerks, the movie Clerks that came out in what was that, 94?
Yeah,
didn't see it
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, what about did you see Clerks 2?
Yeah.
Did you see Dogma?
Yeah, Dogma.
What about Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
Yep.
What about Clerks 2?
What about Clerks 3?
What about, weren't they in one of the Scream movies?
Yes.
Okay.
What about Hosers?
Weekend at Bernie's.
Heard of it, haven't seen it.
They're not in Weekend at Bernie's.
Chasing Amy?
The subject.
Yeah, Chasing Amy was one of his
Bernie
first
Womack. You don't know who Bernie Womack is?
Nope.
Yes.
Anyway, it's again, it's a very, I would say, niche group. I just saw Clerks a few weeks ago. It's okay.
I think Clerks is okay just because it is a little independent movie, and I've got a great story about the Quick Stop. Leonardo.
Hey, Thomas.
Leonardo, New Jersey. Our friend Mac84 lives nearish, and bless you. And he took me there, and I went inside and bought gum, because that's kind of a joke from the movie. Is they had a guy coming in to it was like anti-smoking, but he was like a salesperson for the gum company. Yeah. So I bought a bunch of gum and I took it all back to where I live. It was all like a year old. It was all expired. It was so I think I don't know what they're selling there, but seemingly it's smokes and Lotto and all that stuff.
Not
that's what's keeping them going.
Not a lot of packs of gum. Not as many packs of gum.
No.
Not the rotisserie hot dogs.
I don't think they have any of that.
I don't think that's their thing.
I mean, yeah, because it's I don't even remember if they had fountain drinks. It's kind of like an old school convenience store.
Yeah.
So they've got a freezer case that's got drinks and stuff in it, and they've got coffee,
Yeah.
you know. But
And
I
they
don't
got
remember that they had
chips and Hostess Twinkies, that kind of stuff.
normal gas station stuff. But here's the thing: there was a point where in the U.S. where it just became there's got to be gas, and then it just happens. We're a convenience store with a gas side hustle. That just transformed. That was everywhere, and this place, no gas. It's just strictly a convenience store in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's your local bodega minus the deli meats and the
100%. It is just
where
like,
you go to get the gallon of milk and the loaf of bread because it's there.
It's 10 o'clock at night, and you don't really want to drive to Walmart.
This is all correct.
Cool. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Redmond, New Jersey. Is it Redmond? Yeah, where like the stash is, and he's got a coffee shop.
But that's not really even a thing anymore, though. The Jay and Bob's stash thing, it's been closed for years.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was still
open. You remember it's RGS Video or whatever, the little video store thing, and I think that was what the guy that owned the RGS Video thing, I think it's RGS. I'm saying it wrong, but I guess the guy wanted a bunch of money, and they were just like, nah, forget it. And then so it just petered out, and it was no longer a video rental place, and became like a little comic book store, and then became just kind of a locked thing that just happens to be on the other end of the quick stop. So
yeah.
Speaking of New Jersey, the Lumen headquarter building is in Glendale, New Jersey, for the Severance TV show.
Yeah, I think Ron's been there, if I'm not mistaken. Have you, Ron?
Yes.
Into that building?
And we actually, it's the Bell Labs building.
Yeah.
But we went there a day that they were filming, as a matter of fact. And I went and I talked to
like an extra.
No, because I went and I talked to the people, and I was like, what time was call? And it was like 11 o'clock or something when we were there. And they were like, oh yeah, call was 6 a.m.
Oh.
And so I walked over and just talked to casting people, and I was like, you guys need anybody else? And they were like, oh, we always put people in the background. But they did not have shoes. That was the problem. They were they had no shoes. They had suits. They even had fat guy suits, no shoes. So we just ate lunch and then went on about our day. It was great.
Cool. Does anybody remember the movie 2012, Dead Before Dawn?
No.
I remember the movie 2012, and I remember the movie
from 2012.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Dead Before Dawn.
Nope.
Dead Before Dawn.
I don't get out much.
Well, their movies are on at your home now too.
Ooh, what is this fancy technology? I just don't watch a lot of TV.
I do remember this movie. Now that I'm looking at it,
it's got Christopher Lloyd in it. Good gosh.
Yeah.
So why are we talking about this?
I don't know. It was in the.
Did it have Jay and Silent Bob in it or something?
I don't know. It was just in the chat, and I was like, "Oh."
Was it made in? Oh, it's got Kevin McDonald from Kids in the Hall. So there you
go. He was. Was it Kids in the Hall?
Yes.
No. I'm trying to think of the guy that we had for the last season of Son of a Critch. I think it was him from Kids in the Hall.
Hey, Dave.
Fair enough.
So what else is new and exciting? Anybody have any good tech buys this week?
No, we had Mark McKinney. Sorry,
I bought some things.
What'd you buy?
What'd you get, Eric?
I bought 2 PC games.
Ooh.
Because lately I've been into boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
So Space Quest.
Oh, nice.
And Space Quest 2.
Oh, that's awesome.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Are these for Apple II or what?
No, they're for PC.
Okay.
Do they support Tandy sound?
It says IBM Tandy and MS-DOS compatibles.
Ooh.
Sweet.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
I have the entire space. He said the thing. I did say the thing. I have the Space Quest CD collection, so it's all the games on one CD. And I'm sure the CD was only a quarter filled because those games are not that large.
This has all the marketing material in it, the registration card,
neat,
a couple of coupons for other things.
Coupons?
That's kind of neat.
Oh, Eric?
Yeah.
I don't mean to alarm you.
Yes.
But there appears to be two tribbles next to each other.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know anything about tribbles.
Careful.
But
they're born pregnant.
Yeah, they're born pregnant. And they only get more pregnant as
time goes
I
on.
have not, Dave. They haven't come in yet.
Oh, they make the noise. That's awesome.
Yeah, these
Well, you would too if you got hit.
Oh, this one matches my beard.
Oh, it does.
Nice.
Look at that.
That's not a beard. That's a tribble.
You could be like that guy on the, what is that? The Men in Black International that's got the thing that matches his beard that hangs under his face.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking the episode of the Family Guy where Peter grows the beard and then the endangered birds nest in it. He can't do anything about them.
Yep.
Nice. These were Think Geek. Remember when that was a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got one for Christmas, and they accidentally sent two.
See?
And when I
They
contacted
duplicate.
them, they said, "Oh, just keep it."
Yeah. Don't send it back here. We got enough problems.
Where'd you go to Newfoundland? Or did Mark send it to you?
Mark sent me that with some stickers.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's
Nice.
neat.
Yeah.
It's a mini Newfoundland. You're holding it
It is.
wrong.
Very nice.
I am. I know. I was looking at it. I was like, wait, I think it
No,
goes this way.
try the way. Keep going. Other way.
Yeah. I like how
Go
this
more
is
way.
a, this is a
completely 180. Turn it, flip it vertically.
You know,
The
it's
other-
an
the other
island
horizontal.
on a globe.
There you
Why
go.
does it matter?
I'm used to seeing it from the aspect of Florida.
You
Yeah,
should
Yeah.
see.
It's not that big.
I watched this one of these guys on YouTube who do geography, and he's from Australia. And behind him, he has a world map, but from the view of Australia, right? Like you would
Yes.
normally. You should see the comments of people asking him why his map is wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's right, just from a certain point of view.
right? It's just the amount of people who go, your map is, why is your map screwed up and it's wrong? Look how small everything is up in, like, North America looks so small.
Because it is.
It is. It's on a globe. This you
Yeah.
can't take a circle and make it or a sphere and make it flat.
I just think that more people need to
True,
watch
yeah.
Map Men.
Map Men.
Map Men. It's a great series. It's two British guys. They just they talk about all kinds of stuff. And
Do they? Is it set in the 1950s? Do they drink and smoke a lot and slap their coworkers' bottoms?
They do not. It is
Oh.
actually all about maps and
Oh.
how, and not just like the globe or things like that. It might be about like British railway maps, or it might be just about, there was a whole thing that was all about figuring out how big France was using triangles and
That's
things
pretty
like that. It's and there's a sister kind of series. It's Jay Foreman is the kind of the lead person on it. That he has another series. It's called Unfinished London, which is really, really great as well. So I cannot recommend them enough. Map Men.
Cool. Map Men, and they're on YouTube.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
I will add them to my.
And
list.
they put out new episodes occasionally because they've gone on to bigger, better things, but occasionally they get together and make an episode.
I was watching James May's Great Explorers was his new series he did. It's a 3-part new series.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was talking about how, and I didn't know this, one of the maps of Newfoundland that was used for nearly like 300 years or 200 and plus years was actually done by that same principle, just using triangles. And I can't remember the famous guy who did it. He was the famous explorer, and his name escapes me right now. I'm sure I can go look at Plex and see, because his name would be in the.
What's not James Insnor, because that's Belgium's famous painter.
Speaking of Plex, Ryan, is your Plex down?
Nope, it's perfectly up.
I haven't been able to connect it for the last week.
It might be that whole new thing where I have to pay for a subscription thing now.
That's
Yeah, that was
right.
one. That was the other thing. I don't. Plex now requires the owner of a Plex server to have a Plex pass to be able to share their con. Sir Walter Raleigh.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah. So Walter Raleigh was brilliant at making maps, and he used a triangling system to make it. Anyway, the map that he made of Newfoundland, because he was actually commissioned to make a map of Newfoundland, was so good and so perfect that it was used for like 250 years before it was replaced in the early 1900s.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, one of the best teaching maps that I saw was the I don't know how to pronounce it, Demaxion map, Fuller projection. It's made out of triangles, and you can position them together to either focus on the a particular landmass, or you can tile it to look at the ocean, so that and it gives you a better perspective for a projection that's a little more correct size-wise, because each triangle is a projection.
Cool.
So you can't lay it flat like you can a Mercator projection or something like that.
Right.
You end up with gaps with the triangles, but for sections of it you focus on, it's really, really good. And kids like to play with them.
Interesting.
Nice.
Cool. But yeah, this weekend we have a science fiction convention here in St. John's, Newfoundland, which my retro group is hosting. We get the restaurant for the hotel. That's where we get stuck. It's in the fancy, nice restaurant, so we have a lovely setup in there. This year we've kind of focused on things that don't hurt Ryan's back to move.
That's always good. That's always good.
So I forego bringing a pile of CRTs this time around, because it's the pack in, the pack out is painful. Like we were talking about this the other day, I think myself and Ron, about it, like VCF being an extra day. It definitely makes it better when it's a bit longer, because it's a lot of work to try to pack in and pack out in a day and a half.
Yeah.
And so I feel that like tomorrow we have a full day, and then Sunday we have basically a full day, and then Sunday evening we pack out and take it home. But I've only got 5 machines there this time around, so I'm not.
That's good.
Before it was like 6 carloads, and now it's like 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Eric.
Demaxion.
Yeah. The guy, Buckmaster Fuller, the guy that did the geodesic dome and all that.
Yeah.
So it comes from that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very neat.
It's neat, though, that it makes it easier to look at. And are things proportional then? Do you get a better understanding of proportions, or are things still exaggerated?
No, it's better, because with a Mercator projection, Greenland looks huge.
Yeah.
Right. In this, since the projection's on the tile that covers the landmass, you don't get that distortion.
Right.
But it also means that you can't really make a regular flat map out of it.
Right.
So,
I mean, everybody here is probably old enough to remember. Remember when classes had maps in them? Like you would pull down the
the pull down
maps.
one.
Yeah. Classrooms don't have that anymore.
Right here's Greenland.
Yeah.
Not as big as it looks like on a Mercator.
No.
Hey, do various U.S. politicians know that? Maybe that would change, like
it's
their
also
interest
not
in
green.
it. Yeah.
It's all right,
wait a minute,
guys.
it's covered with ice?
We're gonna put
somebody ask Iceland what's going on.
Joe. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's an artificial line. Someone took a ruler out and just
yeah.
Well,
hey, Frederick.
Just look at Oklahoma, where they were like, "I'm not ceding any land to Texas. We're just gonna."
Well, yeah, like when we talk about Canada, we have some weird lines with the United States that don't make any sense, and I think actually Michigan probably has some of the funniest
stuff
annexing
that goes
of
back
land.
and forth.
Yeah.
Well, you kept taking the islands from us.
Listen, there's a
Well, you
reason we
weren't
have the
doing
most
anything with
islands of
them.
any country, and we'll be damned if we're going to give any of them up.
Just one more island. It's all we need to complete our collection.
Yeah. Do you know we have one of the only islands in an island, or it's an island in a lake on an island in a lake on an island in a lake.
Yeah. It's enclave. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fish stuck at the middle are really up the
Very
creek, literally.
confused.
There's an island inside Lake Superior called Isle Royal, that has a lake on it, and in that lake is an island,
No
and
kidding.
in that island's a puddle.
Yeah.
So,
and on that tree there was
bog.
a rattling bog,
rattling bog.
hole in the bog.
Bog down in the valley, yo.
Hey ho, the rattling bog.
I remember singing that in choral classes warm-ups.
Oh, we just sing it at scout meetings. It was one of our sing along by the campfire scout songs.
Yeah,
that was a drinking song for us at Ren Fair. Every song at Ren Fair is a drinking song.
So I got what is Ren Fair? It's a Renaissance festival. Fair?
It's a fake 1600 Renaissance festival. It's not the SCA where they actually try to do things. You have Star Trek away teams,
right,
and fairies and centaurs and all sorts of magical beasts.
Cool. Because every time you say it, all I think of Renfield, and I'm like, is it like a vampire meeting? Like,
well, there's probably vampires too. I don't know.
Well, they have this large owl statue in the woods. I'm not sure what they're doing out there.
Ooh.
Oh, hello, Mr. Owl. It's
you ever see a
old folks running around in chaps. Nice.
Oh, you got furries too.
Oh,
everybody is welcome at Ren Fair.
That reminds me of the episode of The Big Bang Theory where Sheldon used Leonard's pillowcase to make his underwear because he wanted cotton.
His linen loincloth.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Borrowed?
Yeah. He's like, what do you mean borrowed? Oh, boy.
I like Francois' comment. That's funny. That's the name of a town, isn't it? Isn't that the name of? Isn't that the name of a Welsh town? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
They also think.
What do you mean? It's not flat.
Well, the atlas is flat that my map was in. It's got to be flat.
Yeah.
Well, remember, birds are actually cameras and all that other stuff too.
Did you ever watch the documentary on the kid that made that up? The kid that made up birds are fake. Yeah, he made it up as a joke, and then he realized he could sell merch, so he sold over $1 million worth of merch and paid for his university degree, and then came out and said, "It's all made up. I made it up. It's not."
Yeah,
real.
And then that was a conspiracy theory. Yeah, he's actually hiding the truth.
Yeah, he got bought out or he got silenced.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there was some people who thought that.
I thought contrails came from birds too, not planes.
No, that's bird shit. That comes from
okay.
birds. Why is it white? How explain that to me? Why is it white?
Why?
Exactly, because they're not real.
Bird stuff?
Yeah. Bird stuff, because they're not real.
It just comes down to the content of the...
No, it's because they're not real.
Oh, fair enough.
It's hydraulic fluid.
Must be.
It is dodecahedron shaped.
Doctor Who lived in it. Yes.
No, he lives inside the TARDIS, which is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Indeed.
Oh, anyway, it's been a very, very busy week. I'm heading towards 2 weeks off now for Easter because
nice.
Good Catholic school that we are shut down for 2 weeks for the death of our Savior. So it should be fun. I've got a lot of projects to take care of over the time, and I'm probably gonna do some Apple II stuff. I'm gonna bring home I have an Apple IIe Platinum, I think. Is that what it's called? An Apple IIe Platinum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I assume that's what I think. That's
well,
what
does it have a numpad?
Yes.
Then yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So I might bring that home and
Cool.
Yeah, one of those.
2E Platinum.
That's she.
I brought 2 back from storage the other day.
Nice. Anyway, yeah. So the
sending one to the UK.
Oh, nice. We might do a few things over the break with the Apple II, and I've got my garage project. I don't know if you guys have been following along, but I've been cleaning out my garage.
Yes.
Awesome.
Floor
You're
has
halfway
been
through it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the floor is pretty much done now, and then the next step is I have to acid wash the floor, which will hopefully happen next week, and then I take a couple of days.
She's talking about Easter.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because you're on break for morning.
Yeah. It's actually celebration. It's not mourning. But
Well, never mind.
It was only 3 days.
Yeah, he was only dead for 3 days, and he's back
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah.
We sit Shiva longer than that.
It was like, I'm up.
All right. What's all the noise? And he just rolls back the rock. What's going on out here?
Yeah.
Everybody gets
You
away.
kids, keep it down.
I died for your sins.
You youths in white.
You
Keep it down. Is that it? Was that the I don't remember. Anyway.
You know what they say about youth?
Yeah.
It's wasted on the young.
Yes. That is true.
My father used to always say that.
I say it all the time. So, yeah, for April's apples or Apple April or whatever it's called.
April apples.
April apples. Frank sent me an Apple IIc.
Oh, I also have one of those.
See?
And I bought Javier's little USB-C adapter power doodle thing.
Yeah,
nice.
And stuff.
These
I haven't
doodle
turned it on
things.
yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to send me one of those, Frank.
And
I
a
got
Fuji,
one for you.
a
Yeah.
Fuji net for it
Sent me
too.
too.
So
Very cool.
yeah. So I'm gonna
Very
play
nice.
around with that next month.
Careful, if you say FujiNet like 2 more times, Thomas Cherryholm shows up.
Is that a bad thing?
No,
You know, yeah.
it's
Okay.
it's-
Fujinet.
Yeah, it's
S-
beautiful. Yeah.
Speaking of Fuji nets,
See?
go to jcm-1.com
Yeah.
because
By the way,
the,
jcm-1.com is a sponsor of the show. We'd like to thank Joe for his lovely sponsorship. His banner has been running at the bottom of our screen the entire time, and now we're going to plug him.
mine are naked. I didn't put the cases on these ones yet. But the Atari 8-bit Fuji nets are now available on jcm-1.com, along with the
nice.
Apple II Fuji nets. So yeah, so go on and get yourself an 8-bit Fuji net, and this will actually allow you to connect online. There are some online services that you can take advantage of that the FujiNet community came up with, as well as load software on the SD card and all that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, exactly, SD card. Sorry,
Cool.
but yeah, they're on jcm-1.com. So
Yeah,
go get
it's
yours
pretty
today.
cool.
What? So you have the Apple II and the
Atari one so far.
Atari.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Probably some Cocoa ones coming next.
Okay.
For the candies. So yeah, that's coming. I have a Macintosh one, but I don't want to do more of them yet because they are in development. Like it's not fully flushed out. Like it works, but not as well as the other ones. So they're still development. I don't want to mass produce a bunch of them, knowing
Some
that they're
changes might come.
probably going to change something.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's been
Yeah.
a couple of revisions
Right,
on
Trina?
different stuff. So
Exactly.
yeah, you don't.
So
Right, Trina.
stay tuned for that. But I think a lot of what the Macintosh one does is kind of a mix between the floppy emu, but not to the full extent of what the floppy emu does, and a Blue SCSI. So it kind of does a little bit of both. So
Gotcha.
there are better options at the moment.
It looks like Francois is working on a power adapter for the 500 series PowerBooks too.
Cool. USB-C.
Nice.
Yep.
Yes.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Today I was getting my last machine ready for our con that we're doing, and I installed. It was an arduous journey all day. I attempted to start it with Windows 98 SE with an SD or SCSI, or not SCSI, sorry, SATA to IDE adapter and SSD. And I did that 3 times, and it failed all 3 times with 3 different SSDs. So I finally gave up, and I said, okay, well, I'll try a spinning disk. Failed with the spinning disk too.
Oh.
So I said, okay, well, it's probably this SD or this SATA to IDE adapter. I said, I'll just try one more thing. So I went and grabbed a spinning disk, just out of possibility that it was. Anyway, it worked. But by that time, I had moved to Windows ME. I understand how unstable it is, and it has done a couple of weird things. But I don't. It's not as unstable, or it doesn't seem any more unstable than Windows 98 SE also does weird things. So I don't know. Was it one of those bad rap kind of things, or
I think part of it's bad rap, and part of it is because it removed some essential functionality that people liked, which was 98 SE machine, you've got FAT32, you can
Right.
have nice big hard drives, and guess what? On startup, you can hit F8 and you can just drop to a DOS prompt, play
Right.
games, do whatever you wanted to do. And Windows ME removed that.
Right.
But what you got for that was some improved driver support, especially on newer hardware compared to 98 second edition. So,
yeah, like all the hardware in this computer was automatically detected and installed. The only thing I had to install was the Voodoo graphics adapter and the D-Link D-Link network card. That was separate. yeah. I don't know. I don't remember. I remember everybody shitting on it at the time, and I remember having a couple machines with it. And we're like, nope, going back to SE. But now looking at it now, I'm like, I don't see a huge. I don't know what I was. Why I was. I think it was just people saying all this.
If you were gonna play like Windows 98 era games, you might have more hardware, newer. You could sneak and run some newer hardware,
right?
On that. But yeah, it's kind of it's got a bad rap because everybody like 95 is just a pain and awful. And then 98 fixed a lot of those problems and had a couple little service releases and stuff. But I think people saw ME as just sort of like a stopgap, like it's just like a driver update, and then that neutered out some base functionality of the operating system, getting people ready for XP.
Right.
I never used ME myself. I stuck with 98 until XP came out.
Yeah, because they were going to have two C. Remember that Windows 2000 was going to do that OS. Yeah. They basically were going to have two forks, I guess, be very different. But then they decided to just kind of put them all together, which I think was the better decision in the end.
I'm just thinking from a support perspective. Yeah, for sure.
Right. But like, I don't remember. I remember running Windows 98 for a very long time, and I remember it was probably 2002, maybe even 2003 before I switched to XP. Like XP had been around at least a year or maybe two, because I remember when XP came out, it was great as long as you had a machine that could run it well, and you waited for those service packs to come out. Like it wasn't until Service Pack 1 that everything kind of was like, yeah, this is great now, it's done.
Yeah, I had MSDN library access at the time.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I remember the game support was really iffy. I do remember people like buying 2001, 2002 era games and be like, no, it runs way better on 98. I especially think like Battlefield 1942 and like the original Call of Duty. Yeah, I feel like they work better.
Duty.
What's that? Duty.
Duty.
He said duty.
Oh, that was before, of course, Jay and Silent Bob showed up in Call of Duty.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Oh, we came all the way back around. Actually, and I'll tell you, I ran NT4 workstation forever. Like that was my daily driver operating system, with very limited driver support for things. And then when Windows 2000 came out, I moved up to that. So
I remember running Windows 2000.
Yeah, it's great. It's very, very stable if you've got like the right machine to run it on.
But if I remember correctly, like there was a lot of things that didn't run on it.
Yeah, and that's by design. Yeah, you're not going to game on it.
No,
there was no DirectX. There's no DOS. It was just what it really came down to is I want like a really stable operating system for like my Pentium era machine.
Yeah.
Really great for that.
Well,
like if it's just I'm just using it like a workstation, I'm not playing games, I don't need any of this other stuff. I mean, it barely had media support for like sound cards and things like that.
But really, if you were a network administrator, it was a great machine.
And it was
you could network install it.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that with any of the other Windows OSs, not officially or not well. But I do remember you could network install NT4 pretty easily. But I'm actually working on a project for a vessel that was built in the early 2000s, and it's running NT4 workstation for its alarm system. And it's been running for 20 plus years now, but they're concerned because nobody has a backup of it. It has no, there's just no, but it's running solid. It works every day. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Again, those are applications you really don't want crashing and wasting your time with. So I
Well,
can understand why.
and keep in mind too, the very first way to get multiprocessor support.
Right.
So,
And more than a gig of RAM, if I remember correctly.
I don't know
think
about that.
Was NT, or maybe it was 2000, had like high RAM support.
I don't remember that, but yeah, maybe potentially. I do know. I think NT4, if you went over a certain amount of RAM, it would just not it couldn't address it. You would just
It was
the
4
machine
gigs.
would either freak out or something. Yeah.
NT4 was 4 gigs. Yeah, because it's a 32-bit operating system, so it could only really see 3.5. Now, but if you look at Windows 95, comparatively, it was only 480 megs. Right, so
yeah,
we had an NT4 server with 2 gigs of RAM. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And when you have to think back, imagine buying 2 gigs of RAM back in 1996.
Oh, it's expensive. Extremely expensive.
Yeah, I know. I never had it.
Might as well just get another Camry, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, it's the same with hard drives too. Like ridiculous prices for storage.
Yeah, I remember our university. I remember reading a story in 1988. I'm going to say, or 85, maybe. They bought a 250 megabyte hard drive for the network share. And it was like $56,000.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We had, in the mid 90s, we had one machine that had a SCSI full height drive in it for burning CDs because it was the only machine that had enough storage for an image.
Right.
Yeah.
We were talking about burners today at work. And one of my coworkers remembers buying his first burner. It was a HP. And he said he used it for about 6 weeks and it failed. And apparently they had this problem where the laser would go too far on the arm and just fall off the end of it.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
They didn't put like a stop on the end of the so we just literally just push it. If it was, especially if it was moving fast, it'd fly right off the end of the rail.
Whoops.
There's an oversight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we had that same problem recently, not recent, but in recent years with when solid state drives first came out. And then, you thought you were getting a deal when it was like $1 a gig. And then now you can pick them up dirt cheap anywhere, has them now.
I remember when Western Digital released those 120 gig drives, like 120 gig was basically like realistically the cap for a lot of the controllers of that era. And it was just like when the price came down on those, everybody was like, yep, I've just got everything online. I just keep it all out there all the time. Nothing's backed up anymore. Nothing. It's
I'm on the cloud now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I remember when I bought my first, and looking back, obviously, hindsight is always 20/20. But when my father retired from his first job in 2000, he got a little severance package because they actually restructured the bill.
Was he able to remember it when he was done?
What? The severance package? Yeah. They were able to complete. Yeah, the severance package was for his innie, but he ended up spending it as an Audi.
Oh, no.
Anyway, we went to Future Shop at the time, and basically I was given sort of carte blanche, go get what you want. And so we were looking at a bunch of different things, and we were like, oh, well, maybe we'll get a scanner and we'll start taking photos and scanning things and digitizing. I was like, no, we'll get a digital camera. We'll bypass that problem at all. So we bought our first digital camera. But I remember I was walking down the hard drive aisle. I was like, Dad, we're going to need more storage because right now we only have like a 6.5 or like an 8.5 gig hard drive in the computer. I'm like, if we're going to be taking all these pictures, they're going to take up lots of space. We need to buy another hard drive. I was like, okay, go. So I went and picked out a Maxter 20 gig.
Yeah.
Now, hindsight being what it is, I should have splurged and paid the extra $30 for the Western Digital that was next to it. Yeah. But no, the Maxter was a deal. Man, did that drive ever suffer a terrible fate.
Yeah.
It lasted just long enough to be outside the warranty period and then exited stage right.
Yeah.
Very loudly, I might add.
Yeah. A lot of those drives were not especially great. We had when the price on storage came down, I think on Quantum released those Bigfoot drives. They were like 5 1/4 third height kind of drives.
I got one right here behind me in this cupboard.
Oh yeah, I think it was 10 gigs or something, or maybe it was like 8.4. It was kind of like
something like that. Yeah,
weird
number.
We honestly had it for like they had it on a machine where you can back your stuff up to it, and I was like, I don't think so. And because it wasn't even, I think they're like 4,300 RPM. They're like just really
dog slow.
Yeah, they're slow and
they're
loud
noisy from the day you take them out of the package.
Yeah, and I think that the drive failed within a couple of months, and people lost data because they were like, "Well, it's the backup," and it's like,
no. You only do it once; it's not a backup.
Yeah, if that's your only copy that was on there, then no, that's not a backup.
That is the
copy.
Yeah. So make this a PSA: save early, save often, save in multiple places in multiple locations.
That's right.
And also, I will tell you, because I'm currently doing this with a bunch of clients, I like to do it at least once a year. Test your backups.
Yeah.
It's just because something says it's backed up doesn't mean it's going to work for you when it.
Yes, untested backups aren't backups.
Yeah.
No, you remember having to deal with tape backups all the time?
Oh yeah.
You just got the shivers.
Yeah, they failed more often than they worked.
Do you remember when you could get a thing to say? And I think Clint did a video on this, but you could save to VHS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was a VHS. Yeah, I think you get like a gig of data on one VHS.
Yeah, incredibly slow.
Yeah,
and actually, there's a couple companies that even released tape drives that just use standard mini cassettes.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, because I saw one of those for sale on Facebook Marketplace recently, where it'll use any old tape software that you want. It's you plug a tape in and it just runs it just like anything else. But I think it's very small, like it's maybe a couple megabytes or something like that. Yeah,
I remember too. I saw this, and I guess HP did it too, but in consumer. But they were saying it was a backup solution, but it was just a hard drive. And it was like a 5 1/4 bay, and you would just jam a hard drive in, and they had special software, but it was very expensive. But they made it seem like it was this like newfangled technology, but all it was just a laptop hard drive or a desktop hard drive in an enclosure that slid into the front, and offered one-touch backup.
And I think that's part of the popularity of like the Jazz Drive and zip drives and things like that. Because it was just like, it's now cheap enough, not maybe with a Jazz drive, but definitely with a zip drive. It's like, 100 megabytes. I can put it on there and just put it in storage somewhere. But even those zip disks, I think, were $15 or something when they came out. They weren't cheap.
Yeah.
But I remember like when my friend got his LS
120.
120, like that was amazing. We're like, it reads regular floppies. Yeah. And it reads these cool, like, $25 floppies that hold 100 megs, and we were blown. Our minds were blown. 100 megs, my god!
Yeah,
you could put whole games on that.
My first hard drive was 10 meg.
Mine was, I think, 80 meg.
Yeah, I think mine that was just mine was like 30 megabytes.
Yeah. Yeah, our home computer was a 386. I think it came with a 40 meg hard drive
or 40 megabytes. Or
yeah,
something.
This was for an 8088 clone.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Amber screen or a green screen?
Amber in a Hercules graphics card.
Ooh.
So it was styling.
Cool. Well, we've been at this now for about an hour and 15 minutes, thereabouts. I guess unless we have anything else to say, we should let everybody go for the evening. Unless there's anything anyone wants to talk about. Anything coming up that you want to make note of? Any streams or anything? Ron, are you doing anything for the end of Marchintosh? Or are you going to do
I'm going to release one more video, and probably after the first, we'll have a little wrap up. We'll do a little wrap up video. But Retro Repair Roundup on Sunday, and we've got a great guest on there. If you're interested in how software is ported between platforms, then you will want to tune in.
Are you able to tell us who it is, or that is?
I would say if you were to go to the Retro Repair Roundup YouTube page, you can find out the name of the guest, and you can click that little bell icon for notifications and reminders on when we stream.
Yeah. Yeah, I am going to stream tomorrow morning at 9. I have no idea what I'm streaming about. Maybe I'll just wing it.
It's too late, Eric. It's after 9. Trina's asleep.
Yeah.
She won't hear you.
Make some bread.
Yeah, it's okay.
She's not here. She's sleeping.
She's gone to bed. Cool. I don't think I'm going to have anything this week, other than I might do. You'll see some shots on social media of our ventures this weekend at the retro booth or room or whatever you want to call it at our science fiction convention here. Yeah. Frank, you guys, Frank, anything?
No, I don't
No?
really have anything. I have.
I like
that
your
one
shirt.
project. Thank you. Yes.
Can I ask a quick question?
Oh, my circus.
How does one recap a shirt?
That's his
Very
recapping guide.
carefully. If you don't wanna burn through the material.
Yeah, you don't want to go down the next layer and burn the nipples.
That's
I
right.
mean,
Yeah, that's right.
If you recap a shirt, isn't that just called a hat?
cool.
Well-
guys.
The hoodie has a hat on it, I suppose.
Oh, it actually matches.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
And this can wait until afterwards if you guys want to.
No, ask
Chat.
away.
Somebody mentioned maybe a month or two ago a place to get refurbished hard drives cheap, like
Yeah.
server drives or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
Brian.
I got it. Yeah, it's
Yeah. What was
stand
that?
by.
My computer has a hodgepodge right now, and I want to migrate a bunch of stuff over to a
Excuse
new
me.
drive.
It's a good idea.
Stand
Well-
by. That's good.
While he looks that up, I hope everybody has a great evening, and thank you so much for joining us this Friday and most Fridays here on Old World Tech Fridays. Does
It's
anybody
server-
have any last minute?
Sorry, serverpartdeals.com.
Server part deals.
Deals.com. Yep.
Thank you.
Any have any last minute words of wisdom?
Pull down your pants.
If you can be anything in this world, be kind.
Oh, well, that's better than what I was going to say.
Be kind, rewind.
Or, as I always say, it's a MASH quote.
Yeah.
Take my advice. Pull down your pants.
Slide on.
on the ice.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.